state your full name, please.
My name is Kristen Euler. I'm the health education teacher here at Hood River Valley High School. I think I first came here in 1986. So I've seen a lot of change, especially in terms of Title IX.
What sports did you play in high school and college?
In high school, I did gymnastics. I played field hockey, basketball, and that was it, yeah.
What year did you graduate high school
I
and
graduated
college?
in 1974. So Title IX was instituted in 1972. So I was very fortunate to have Title IX in full swing. And it was very well implemented at the high school I was at.
And as a woman athlete, did you feel that you had certain expectations to excel in sports?
Absolutely. That was kind of my thing in high school. And I ended up getting a scholarship to University of California at Santa Barbara for track. So I ended up running track in college.
And was there any limitations you felt you had as a female athlete?
You know, I felt really fortunate to be where I was at in high school. Title IX had been implemented for 2 years and they very much adhered to it. So I felt very fortunate. When I've talked to women here in Oregon, I feel like Title IX wasn't really in place and as extensive as it was where I went to high school. So I feel fortunate. I feel like I really had a lot of opportunity.
And so you would say that Title IX really affected your sports experience as a
Absolutely.
My name is Grace Miller. I'm a senior. I play volleyball, I do wrestling, and play softball. So for wrestling at state, until 2019, it's always been an exhibition match. So you would, on your medal, it would always say exhibition, and it wasn't like counted as like a real sport yet. And then in 2019, they finally made it an OSAA sport. So on our medal, it didn't say exhibition; it was an actual state match. And just besides, like, I don't know, a lot of guys, especially on wrestling teams, they don't like if you lose, they expect like more out of you. Like they're like, oh well, there's no competition anymore. It should just be an easy win for you, even though it's hard sometimes to just win.
Right. It's just because they're girls.
Yeah, you're just like a girl, so there's like no competition, but in reality there is.
My name is Daniela Valle. I've played basketball and soccer. I think there were certain expectations, like behavioral expectations, like in games and stuff, I feel.
How so?
I feel like we were held to a higher standard with our like behavior and how we like compose ourselves and
We can't be emotional.
right.
Yeah.
I felt like we couldn't like express our feelings or else we could like get technical or have other like consequences, and I feel like when I watched the boys games a lot more was like let's slide stuff, and if girls would say something bad or say a curse word, immediately there would be a repercussion, but the boys got away with a lot more. So I think there's that sort of difference in expectations. I think the basketball programs are pretty like equal in opportunity, so I think it was, I didn't feel any limitations as a female athlete. Luckily, I think Title IX has been was more in the past, and it has given more opportunities to athletes like me, but it didn't directly affect my experience, but it definitely affected the experiences of my older siblings and people before, so I think, yeah, that's
Emily Curtis. I played volleyball, basketball, softball, and I run track. So in track, I never really faced anything in volleyball or basketball just because those are sports where you're usually only around other females, and whereas track, it's co-ed, so I never really felt any limitations, but I know other girls especially did. They didn't want to do a certain event because they felt like it would be embarrassing, or just felt like they weren't good enough to do it almost, and that they wouldn't receive the coaching that they needed. But yeah. I personally haven't really, but I know other girls have.
And do you think Title IX affected your sports experience?
Definitely in softball my freshman year, our field that we practice on, that they still practice on, is at Westside. And so as a freshman, I couldn't drive. And so getting to practice was sometimes really hard for me. Whereas baseball, their field is on campus. They can walk up to the field. So just having to deal with that, it was hard at times.
Right, Faith Ocheski. I actually feel like there's kind of a lack of expectations sometimes. Like they don't expect the girls to do as well or do it as fast, so they're not as high. Maybe in like club programs, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes they like don't think we can do very much, and then when we do like do really well in a game, they're more surprised than they are like glad about it, like our coaches. So yeah, that's kind of weird. I think our high school water polo team is actually really good at like being equal with each other. Like our boys stay and support us and we support them, and I feel like there's a lot of good team camaraderie there. But I'd say like the attendance isn't really equal. A lot of people come to boys varsity more than they do to girls varsity, even though the way that our games are scheduled, they're always together and they're always like right after each other. So like there'll be boys varsity and then right after is girls varsity, but like everybody leaves except for like the parents. So that's sometimes frustrating when they can just stay and watch us too. Our club program definitely isn't as close as our high school program, which is one thing I really like about high school. Our club tends to give more practice time to the boys, or better practice space. So like on Mondays, sometimes they get to practice in a full court setting, and then when the girls get in after them, we only get half a court, so we don't get to like work on our counters and stuff for competitions, which can be kind of hard.
Myers gets it up to Leslie. What's she gonna do? She dunked it! For the first time in WNBA history, someone has dunked in a game. It's Lisa Leslie with the dunk. She did it in practice at the All-Star game.